everybody, Natalie here. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. That is awesome. I hope you guys stick around for the rest of this video. But today we are going to talk, there's no buts. Anyway, today we are going to talk about my last term and just do kind of a recap and what I really learned and took away from last semester. So at the beginning of last semester, I was kind of dumb and I decided that I didn't want to be a digital student anymore. I was over it and I didn't get anything out of it previously. And so through a lot of frustration and a lot of digging, I decided I don't want to be digital anymore. And I jumped into being non-digital in the worst way humanly possible. It is 11:30 at night and I am drinking coffee. So if I talk really fast, that's why. Anywho, I decided that it was a good idea to write out all of my PowerPoints in outline form on paper in a notebook. That is right. I believe I gave myself carpal tunnel just by doing this. My poor arm has never been the same. I mean, this was like 16 pages worth of information being written out. It took me days and I only did it for 7 chapters. I mean, when I say I only did it for 7 chapters, I did this for 7 chapters. It was the stupidest thing that I could have ever done, and it hurt. It hurt my brain, it hurt my arm, it hurt my soul, it hurt. And then I decided, okay, I'm not gonna do that anymore. I'm gonna go semi-digital, and I'm gonna type this out. And then I'm gonna print it and take notes on it in class, right? So I did that for maybe 4 more chapters in the book before I decided that I was too tired of it to continue. So I stopped. So my whole digital career, my non-digital career, did not last. That part into the semester, I decided that I did in fact want to be digital, but I needed to find a happy medium in order to make it sustainable for me to study, because the whole point of doing the outlines was to have like a first pass of the information, and I wasn't getting that because I was just mindlessly writing words on a page. I wasn't getting any information out of it. I wasn't retaining any information out of it. So I knew that I needed to find a happy medium. So what I decided to do was I finally downloaded Notability on my iPad. I'd been using GoodNotes previously. And so when I downloaded Notability, I was able to record my lectures and use that to go back and listen to specific parts in the lecture and highlight and go along with that and write all of my notes within the PowerPoints themselves. And now I use notebooks when I'm doing a study guide for exam review, and that is it. Another thing I do have is a physical planner. I actually have multiple physical planners because I do have pretty significant ADHD. So I have to write things out and have them available at all times so that I don't double book things, which I am notorious for doing. I double book things all of the time. In fact, in February, I've double booked a bunch of stuff because I promised to do one thing and I have obligation elsewhere at that time. So I'm still working on all of that. In the long run, it's gonna be okay, but for now, it's just something that I've got to deal with. So I'm about 5 to 10% paper based and 90 to 95% digital at this point. And I know that there's going to be a lot of things that I learn in the semesters to come, and it'll get a little bit easier as time goes. But that was a wild lesson to learn in the first semester. Another thing I learned about myself is that I would be absolutely nowhere without my study group. Those girls are the most awesome crew I've had the pleasure of being around. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't retain any information at all, because they come with perspective, different perspectives. 3 different to be exact. I've got 3 girls in my group, not including myself. And we all bring something else to the table. We all bring something different to the table, which really brings it all together when it comes time to crunch for the exams. So I would not be able to do anything. Third, I learned going back to my planners is that if it's not planned, it's not done. If I don't have it written down somewhere, there ain't no way it's getting done. So I learned to use my planner to take care of my time management issues, which you'll know if you have ADHD. It can be a pretty tough task to stay on task. So having a specific plan, I use 3 different planners, 3 different physical planners, and then I have 2 digital planners. I have 5 planners, guys. And they all serve a purpose. I have a master planner, of course. I have my planner that I take to school. I have my hour by hour planner. And then my digital planners are just backup planners. They are to throw something in when I'm at school that I don't want to carry my physical planner around, because it just weighs down my bag. And I already have my iPad with me, so that's my backup. That's where I put any information right in the moment in class. But I definitely learned, like, I've been using planners for years. I've used planners for everything. And I thought I was really good at the planner game. And it turns out that I really am not. And I learned that about myself this semester, that it doesn't matter if you write it down if you don't read it again and you don't go back to it. So in a little bit of a crunch, I needed to learn a little bit more self-discipline, that I couldn't double book things, and that I need to get things done ahead of time, so that assignments were getting done the day they were due and things like that. And I was able to fudge the time to make it. I'd go in and look and be like, I have to do this assignment today, and maybe it wasn't due today. Maybe it was due in a week or so, but getting it done ahead of time because it was in my planner to be done at that time, and that's the time I had to get it done, was really, really something. It was a learning curve for sure, but it was really a beneficial one for me, knowing that I could crunch the time and really fudge the time, really, to get things done ahead of time, and know that I had time for it because that was the time that I had blocked out for it. And so I always knew when I opened my book what I should be doing and when, which is great when you have these kinds of issues. Staying on task is really difficult for me most times, or I will sit and I don't know what to do because my mind is racing. So having it written down was really super helpful for me. And so I learned a lot about myself through the semester. I got pretty good grades. I had a high A in one class. I had a high B in the other. I would have had an A, but I had surgery about halfway through the semester. Well, in November. Thanksgiving, to be exact, I was hospitalized and I had surgery on Black Friday. So we had a big test right after that, and so I didn't plan accordingly for the study time for that. So I did not do well on that test. I failed it miserably is what I did, as I failed it miserably. So it doesn't matter. When it came time to take the final, I could get a 58 out of 220 and still pass. Pass the class. But that's neither here nor there. I could have had an A in the class if I would have managed my time appropriately during that particular event, knowing that anything can happen at any time. So don't wait to study. Don't wait until like 3 days before and then start your studying. Like, make sure you're doing it well in advance. Once again, I don't know. I'm either gonna go straight to sleep or I'm gonna be wide awake. So I got good grades last term. And I think if I would have stayed on the path that I was on at the very beginning, I wouldn't have gotten good grades. I think that I would have suffered significantly. So I definitely am very thankful for the lessons that I learned earlier on last term. Like I said, like, I stopped spending hours on end writing things out that didn't matter. Those hours were better spent studying, doing the study guides, and actually like going through the information and learning the information. I learned that I would be really nowhere without my study group. And then I learned that when you have a planner, you should use your planner. And that's really what it came down to, is that those 3 simple things really made the difference for me last semester. And those are the things I'm going to be taking with me into the new semester. I will be on it from the start, with my time management, and how I effectively take notes. It's gonna be a great semester. So I'm really excited for it. And I thank you for hanging out with me today. I know that it was short, sweet, to the point, but I learned 3 very valuable lessons last semester, and I figured I would share them with you here. So if that's something that interests you, I hope you stuck around. I hope you stick around for future videos. Subscribe. Consider subscribing. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but maybe consider it. And I will see you in the next video.